We're watching this one storm right here in far northeastern Pickens County, and this is just producing some rain. Not a lot of lightning, not much in the way of severe weather, and this is making its way off towards the south and east. So if this holds together, maybe towards Samantha, you may see a little bit of light rain in your neck of the woods, and then as we go up towards the north and east, downtown Gadsden, looks like you're getting a little bit of rain, but it looks like the heaviest amount of rain is just to your south as this is moving off towards the south and east, and Walnut Grove might see a little bit of rain as well. And then we're just doing a lingering light rain in around Cherokee County for you. So once again, this is going to be moving off towards the east southeast, making its way into western portions of Georgia over the next 30 minutes or so. So let's get you out the door for tomorrow. We'll trend a little bit drier. We will end up with a partly to mostly cloudy sky, mid 60s. There could be a little bit of fog tomorrow morning, so I want to give you that first alert. And then notice we could see a few pop-up showers, maybe an isolated storm, but notice tomorrow less rain chances and a little bit warmer with highs in the low to mid 80s. Looking ahead, it's all about the warmth. The next big thing we're tracking is temperatures above average. Typically for this time of the year, we're in the lower 80s. Looks like we'll be in the mid upper 80s going into Thursday and Friday. And we're going to stay in the 80s at least going into the early part of next week. But the big story we're going to be watching is the humidity. This is your muggy meter. These are dew points. Measures the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. When they're in the upper 60s and low 70s, it's pretty gross outside. It's a little muggy outside. Typical that we would see in the summer months. So what does that mean? That heat index may start to climb a little bit. It's not going to heat those heat advisory criteria, but use caution for the end of the week. If you have to work outside, make sure you drink water, take the breaks. You know how it works around here. But it could feel like it's in the lower 90s Thursday, Friday into the weekend. But with a lot of heat, there's some unstable air, and there could be a risk for some strong storms. More on that. Here's JP.
All right, thanks, Matt. And we are going to be looking at a potential for some stronger storms toward the weekend. I know there's a little bit of scuttle on the internet about a severe weather outbreak. I'll tell you that there's no signs of that here locally, but farther to the north, you could be looking at some stronger storms up around Nashville and Memphis, all the way up toward Lexington, Kentucky. This is the highlighted area for that potential for severe weather as we get into the upcoming weekend. Let's zoom in on that and exactly what we're talking about. Damaging wind gusts, some large hail. And this is going to be Friday evening, Friday night. We could see these storms kind of trickle in again Saturday during the afternoon and evening, and again on Sunday. So just be aware of that. Computer forecast models, we're looking at both the GFS, the American model, and the European, indicating that this is going to happen. The timing is a little bit different on each model. This is Saturday morning, 6 a.m. does have some rain moving through the area. And then again on Saturday evening, here's a better chance of rain and storms, and the models continue to do this as we get into Sunday. So I don't think the weekend is a complete washout, but there is the potential to see some of these storms get caught up in what we call the northwesterly flow, and they just kind of develop up to the west of us and northwest and move across the area. Sometimes we call these MCSs, mesoscale convective systems. Just means a big cluster of thunderstorms, and they do have the potential at times to produce some flooding rain as well as some gusty winds. So just keep that in mind. We'll be watching that very closely. And this comes as communities are already cleaning up after an EF1 tornado hit Langley, South Carolina on Monday. It brought damage to homes and brought down several trees in neighborhoods. The Langley Fire Department building also got hit by this tornado. Authorities have also closed some roads around the area due to damage. And back here at home, as we continue to see those wet conditions, you may be tempted. We've all seen this before. You may have done it. Turn on your hazard lights when the rain gets heavier. But is that safe? Clay Ingram with AAA Alabama says driving with your hazard lights on is illegal around a dozen states, even though not the case here in Alabama. It's still not recommended, even though some people turn them on because they feel it makes it easier for other cars to see them during heavy rain. Ingram says the rain says sometimes it's the exact opposite.
Not long ago myself, where I was on the interstate, and I kind of slowly came up behind a group of cars that all had their flashers on at the same time. And there were so many cars there, 6 or 8 cars right in front of me, that it made it a little more difficult for me to see out because of all those lights blinking in my face all at the same time. So at a time when visibility is already pretty low, that actually made it even worse.
That can be disoriented. Ingram also recommends pulling over and waiting for the heavy rain to subside. You should only turn your hazard lights on if you're pulled over on the side of the road.
All right, thank you, JP. And of course, we've had a lot of wet weather, and it's all worries when it comes to those travel conditions. Hydroplaning, that's always a major concern. So let's talk about a little signs of how the wet roads impact your commute. So when it's dry, your tires make complete contact with the road at all times, no major issues. But when it's raining outside, you've got water standing on those elevated surfaces, you sort of lose some of that contact with the wet road at certain speeds. And that's when you can slip and slide. So that causes some concern. So once again, dry weather, all four tires looking good. You got that traction. But when you have that wet roads, you get the hydroplaning, and that causes some issues. So just showing you what happens, you've got your tire right here and you're driving slow. So when you're driving slow, you're not getting as much water return on the underside of your tire, and therefore least water return, and you're doing okay. But if you're starting to speed up a little bit, you get less road contact with the road hitting that actual road surface, or the tire hitting the road surface, and therefore you're getting more water returning on the underside, and you're getting a lot of slipping and sliding going on. And of course, if you're really going fast, that's when you've got some pretty big problems. That's when you're going to get the most water return, and that's when hydroplaning becomes a big concern. So always slow it down when it's raining outside. All right, coming up right here on Weather Extra, we're not the only ones gearing up for warmer days. We take you across the country to places getting ready to break heat records in just 30 seconds.
And back here, First Alert Weather Extra. A little bit of rain still showing up on AccuTrack. Not a lot of rain around Coosa River. Gadsden seeing some of that rain. This is a dying cell right now in Perry County. You may get a little rain toward Marion, but overall rain chances pretty limited this evening. You can see the general motion, everything moving toward the southeast and weakening as we lose the instability. Here's a look at the rain chances over the next couple of days. Some breaks of the rain tomorrow, 30% chance. 0 rain chance on Thursday. That is going to be a winner of a day. Rain chances coming back into play. Friday, 20%, 50% on Saturday, 60% chance of rain on Sunday. The other big story is going to be the temperatures. We're going to see those temperatures mid-80s coming up tomorrow and working their way up into the upper 80s toward the end of the week. Heat index is going to be well over 90 degrees. It's going to be warm. It is going to be steamy. Matt?
That's right, JP. And you know, it's going to be warm and steamy here, but guess what? It's even hotter out towards the west. There's a ridge of high pressure, lots of heat in Texas. They got heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in that area. In fact, I want to show you some of these temperatures for tomorrow. These are actual air temperatures, by the way. This is not what it could feel like. 107 maybe in San Antonio tomorrow, 104, 105 perhaps in Austin, Texas. 101 in Dallas. So that is some dangerous heat. And this comes as parts of Texas are preparing for an early season heat wave this week. So temperatures in San Antonio hit 100 today, and they could reach over 100 degrees for the next 3 days. And then more than 6 million people in the state are under heat advisories through tomorrow. And once again, heat records could be broken across central and southwest Texas. If Austin reaches 107 degrees tomorrow, it would make it the hottest day in May on record there. Whew, that is some hot stuff right there. Glad I don't have to be in there right now. So, you know, I'll take 88 any day, right? These warmer conditions are also signaling the start of fire season. Gordon Severson joins us now from Minnesota as city officials show you how they're getting ready early.
When you're fighting wildfires outside the city,
this is a pump right here.
You don't have the luxury of a fire hydrant on every street corner.
Drawing water out from a river, lake, pond.
You either have to pump the water or bring it with you.
The Type 4 like this engine carries 850 gallons of water.
And sometimes you have to go places a normal truck just can't go.
This is one of our track vehicles.
Working in the woods, equipment is everything.
They can climb over large logs or debris.
DNR fire prevention specialist Karen Harrison says they're putting a lot of miles on their equipment this week.
First thing in the morning, we're checking over every vehicle every day.
Their field office in Cambridge is seeing a few calls a day.
It's really hot, it's dry, and it's windy.
We stopped by just as they were switching the sign from very high to extreme fire risk.
I'm telling people, don't be fooled by the green, because if you look closely, there's still a lot of dry, dead vegetation.
About once per day, they're even calling in air support. This video was captured on Sunday showing their helicopter dropping water on a wildfire in the North Metro.
It's very helpful to have.
Tom Simone works on the flight crew. He says a team of 3 crew members and a pilot respond to calls that need extra help from above.
We land, we get out, we put this bucket on, and we go to work fighting the fire.
But despite all of their equipment, their greatest tool is prevention.
Anything that you're doing right now, any spark could create a wildfire, and because of the conditions, it can spread really rapidly and get out of control.
And there's still more to come here on Weather Extra. We have the latest on what you can expect for the rest of the week, and we're also taking a look at some of your photos you submitted right here through the First Alert Weather app. We'll be back with more of First Alert Weather Extra in just a couple minutes. First Alert Weather Extra, tracking a little bit of rain right now on AccuTrack. There's not much out there. Evening plans are going to be in great shape. What we have is starting to fall apart. A little bit additional rain moving up towards Lake Tuscaloosa right now. We have some breaks in those clouds as well through the evening. I think one of the issues that we could be dealing with, we'll give you the first alert for that, some patchy fog. Here's a look at our first alert rain coverage, 30% tomorrow, 0 on Thursday. Small chance of rain Friday, rain chances a little bit more elevated as we get toward the weekend. Here's a look at what we call the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. This is the output showing not much rain, some fog in the morning, 1 p.m., passing shower tomorrow as we start to heat up a little bit. Temperatures during the afternoon making their way up into the mid 80s, and we're really going to start to warm up as we get into Thursday and Friday, so just be aware of that. Our weather headlines, drier weather pattern. Do you have any plans to do anything outdoors? Thursday is going to be the day to do it. Hot and muggy, dew point temperatures coming up into the 70s. Watching the weekend for storms. I don't think the weekend is going to be a complete washout, but be aware you're going to have some thunderstorms. Birmingham Barons coming up for tomorrow. Temperatures in the lower 80s. We'll hit it with about a 30% chance of rain. I do not think we're going to see a lot of rain tomorrow, so the baseball game should be fine. 84 degrees for tomorrow for a high temperature. Passing shower. We'll keep that rain chance at 30%. South winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And as we get into the next several days, 87 degrees on Thursday, Friday 88. We're in the mid 80s. Coming up for the weekend because of the additional cloud cover and that potential for some rain. So just keep that in mind. Matt Daniel here with me. That's the 7-day forecast. You're going to take it beyond the 7-day.
And that's not easy.
It's not
always easy going beyond 7 days.
Hey, that GFS goes out 384 hours. All you got to do is just read the model, right?
And I guarantee you at hour 360, there's a major hurricane somewhere.
Just like clockwork, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So what we say is when you go long range, a lot can change, and it's not always true.
That's right.
So let's get right to it, shall we? We are looking at beyond the 7-day, and we're looking at perhaps a trough, an area of low pressure, some cooler air trying to dive into parts of the eastern United States. So if you're not a fan of this warming trend that we're going to be experiencing over the next 3 to 7 days, there's a chance temperatures could be slightly cooler than average. I'm not saying extremely cooler than average. If our average high is 83, could be like 78, right? So we're going to be watching it very closely between May 21st and the 27th. This is the GFS model, and it has its issues here and there, but we definitely are looking ahead, trying to find some common signs of a pattern. And the European model also is hinting at maybe some cooler air by next Friday, next Saturday. So maybe some 50s or 60s for lows and highs maybe going into the 70s for Friday into Saturday. So we'll cross our fingers. Sometimes when you get closer to the summer months and the models are showing a cold front moving through, sometimes it's hard to believe because summer likes to stay warm and hot. It's sometimes hard for those cold fronts to move through. When it comes to those rain chances, we may see some opportunities for rain. It's already been a wet start to the month. We've already recorded lots of rainfall in Birmingham, especially in Tuscaloosa. It's second wettest May on record. So there's a chance we could see additional showers. It takes a system to push through to give us some rain. So looking ahead for next week, we're talking about next Wednesday. There's a chance we could see some showers and storms. Nothing truly organized, so I don't see any organized severe threats going into next week. But notice there will be opportunities for rain for us, and that's what we will be watching beyond the 7 days. So hopefully we'll cool down a little bit, but I know it's going to be warm and especially muggy. I think the biggest thing we're going to want is the lower dew points and the lower humidity because we can handle upper 80s. We just don't want the extreme mugginess. All right, let's talk about NASA. NASA researchers have done a deep dive on stunning images from millions of miles away showing dancing lights in Jupiter's atmosphere. Jeremy Roth gives us a look in today's Take a Look at This.
Newly released images from NASA give a stunningly detailed look at swirling turbulent auroras on our solar system's largest planet. Captured by the intrepid James Webb Space Telescope, the newly revealed images highlight an active auroral region on Jupiter, more intense and hundreds of times brighter than the ones seen on Earth. Auroras occur when high-energy particles from space collide with atoms of gas in the atmosphere, triggering a luminous light show. Researchers say they expected the Jupiter auroras to fade in and out slowly, but instead described them as fizzing, popping with light and varying by the second. NASA says this observed variability will help scientists better understand how Jupiter's atmosphere works. And from a phenomenon millions of miles away to one at the bottom of the ocean, where deep-sea explorers say they witnessed the tail end of an underwater volcanic eruption. It may not look like much, but that's the point. Researchers diving in a submersible said just a day earlier this same spot was teeming with underwater flora and fauna, but when they returned, nearly the whole area had been entombed by dark volcanic rock, highlighted only by occasional glinting flashes of lava in the water. They believe the nearby Taika hydrothermal vent was the source, and experts say this was the first time an active eruption had been witnessed in the mid-ocean ridge region. Finally, here's an otherworldly sight that anyone in the Chicagoland area can check out for themselves. The city's Brookfield Zoo has reportedly debuted a newly redesigned facility that is now home to nearly 3 times as many moon jellyfish as before, providing a surreal sight that should leave fans over the moon. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
All right, interesting stuff right there. We'll be right back with your final check on weather, and we'll take a look at some of your weather photos right after the break.
I love control. You know, we love our weather pictures. You can submit them with the First Alert Weather app. You can do just like Kaylee Doucet. This is called Clouds over Lake Mitchell. How about that one?
I love this one. Andrew Torbert with a seagull in the Gulf. Love it.
And Hunter Aberhart, Panama City Beach. Look at that. Man,
That looks like a painting.
It does.
Yeah, and check this out. Who's this person?
I think that's Sunset in Bailington.
Yeah, from Shannon Ivy. Love that view there, and this one's nice as well.
That's Ryan Carty, Sunset near Page, Oklahoma. gorgeous, gorgeous pictures.
Yeah, and
You know, anytime you post like a cool picture on Facebook, man, that gets, people love that.
yeah, and you know, this is the time of the year where we can take advantage of it. Because these summertime storms, they give you some impressive clouds. You get shelf clouds, these puffy cumulus clouds. You can get gorgeous sunrises, sunset, rainbows. Yesterday, as I was walking out the door, I saw a sundog.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what a sundog is?
I do.
Well, the people at home may not know what a sundog is.
Hey, look it up. You know, you can Google that, or you can Chat GPT it, or whatever you choose
Yeah.
to do these days. One thing I will tell you, the cameras are good, but they never do like the real thing in justice.
don't, no.
You see it with your eyes, you take the picture, and you're like, it looked cooler than that, right?
Well, when I took the picture of the sundog, so you get the sun setting, and then sometimes you see light
Yeah.
on the side, so it looks like you got two sunsets. I saw that. I took the picture. Did not capture what I wanted.
Can't do it.
Oh well.
So drier days ahead.
Yes.
Thursday looks like a winter. I know my grass needs to be cut because it's been raining so much. Nobody's been able to cut it, so it's kind of up here. A lot of people doing that. Get the car washed on Thursday, but some rain over the weekend. Potential there for some thunderstorms too.
Yeah. So we'll just monitor the First Alert weather app, and it's not going to be a washout this weekend. So we'll cross our fingers, hope for some drier weather days ahead.
That's right, Matt. You can go home. I'll be back at 9 and 10.
All right. See you then.